Welcome to this segment I like to call Open Mic, where we get a chance to get some things off our chest. And I'm really upset about something, and people say I'm using that word a lot lately, upset. But when I look at somebody that I revered, someone that I considered a mentor, someone I considered an icon, not only in television but in journalism, being treated with such a level of disrespect, there's no way I could sit here and not express my disappointment in his treatment by his former employer. And I'm talking about GIL NOBLE, Brother GIL NOBLE. Lori, I mean, when we both were speaking pertaining to his this quote-unquote program Here and Now, which needs to be gone now and stuff, and I want you to kind of just impart what you felt when you turned there, what you were looking for, and what you got in terms of a tribute to a great man like GIL NOBLE.
Well, I want to start with offering my sincere condolences to the family, and I know they know that the community is grieving with them, because the show, like it is, was not only an excellent show in terms of production, but it was an uplifting show, and it was very informative, and it was, a lot of people use the phrase that GIL NOBLE was unapologetically black, and that was exactly what he was. He was an individual who put forth our issues, put forth the individuals that we had as leaders of our community. He put forth grassroots people, a variety of people who showed us what it was to be of African descent, and it's a huge loss to lose him as an individual, but it's also a continued loss to lose the show like it is on the air. As you mentioned, the program Here and Now, I was shocked and amazed that after the loss of GIL NOBLE this past week, late last week, that I expected a tribute. You know, I expected a tribute that hopefully was going to be better than that tribute that they called a tribute after his stroke, and turned on the TV thinking maybe we're going to get an hour instead of the half hour that they normally have, and then I saw there was going to be a half hour, and 7 minutes was used to have a few people talk about GIL NOBLE, you know, what he meant to them, you know, and that was all that they could allocate towards the memory of GIL NOBLE. And, you know, not to make any huge comparisons, but it really bothered me, the fact that with the unfortunate death of Mike Wallace this past week as well, not only was it on the news, it was on every entertainment program there was, Entertainment Tonight. They had segments, you know, all of this talking about the greatness. And someone of equal value to not just black people, but to the industry itself, was not given at least the dignity on his own station that he dedicated 30+ years of his life to. You know, to give him an adequate tribute. And, you know, they really should be ashamed of themselves, to the point where, you know, when we talk about boycott, I don't even watch Channel 7 anymore, because I was so ashamed and disappointed that we couldn't allocate a proper send-off to Brother GIL NOBLE, at least showing a little bit more about his show.
You would think that with a show like it is, purporting to be about bringing consciousness, how you can see Channel 7 having such a lack of it, and how you can see people of color participate in the disrespect of GIL NOBLE. I don't know how Sandra Bookman could sit up there and do a piece like that and not be ashamed of herself. This man is a pioneer on Channel 7. I mean, he's been there longer than anyone else, producing quality products that is loved, this quality show that is loved not only in New York, but around the country. People just don't get it, and the management doesn't get it. But we're going to put the information up in here so they can get it, so you can pick up the phone and tell them how disgusted you were with the trashy way that they treated GIL NOBLE.
And just one other thing I want to say is, you know, as we mentioned earlier with that article that the individual wrote about, you know, alluding to the assassination of President Obama, we have to stop giving the media a pass, because just like I'm upset about the person who wrote it, I'm upset that whoever allowed it to be printed. It's the same thing with ABC. At the end of their 7-minute tribute, when Sandra Bookman mentioned the fact that Gil Noble's family, in lieu of sending flowers, that they wanted them to send money so that they could archive the Like It Is program. They flashed it for a few seconds, not even enough time to pick up a pen and write it down. I know, because I tried. And, you know, although I'm sure you'll get the information and put it on the bottom of the screen,
Right.
that's adding insult to the injury. Even if you're not going to spend enough time giving him his due tribute, the least you could do is help support the family in their grief and their attempts to continue the show, or to continue to try and present the information to the general community. Because again, this information was not just entertainment. This was information that uplifted individuals, that showed them their history, that showed everybody the history of what went on in our country. And although a lot of these stations have buried a lot of the footage that tells us about what we went through during the civil rights era, what our leaders contributed, like Adam Clayton Powell and, you know, other leaders, Gil Noble brought that back. You know, in 2000, we're still seeing about things that happened in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s through clips and footage that helped us look back and understand our history. And as we've talked about many times, history is so important in order to know where you've been and know where you can continue to go.
That's right. Let me just say this quickly. One of the most seminal things that that Noble did and said, when he got a lot of complaints about, well, what about the other side? What about, he'd had Malcolm X on and Malcolm and all, but what the notables within the black community? What about the other side, even from within ABC, complaining about, you know, people were complaining about how come he only has one side. He said, his response was, the other side is always told. We don't hear our side, and he didn't back down. He continued in that same way.
You know, somebody said something I thought was very interesting, and it kind of made me smile when they said it. He said, like, turning on Like It Is was like having a family reunion every week. We just got to see different parts of the family. And I said to myself, you know something, he's right about that. It was like turning on and having a family reunion and understanding the connection with Pan-Africanism, understanding the struggle that's going on in Jamaica is not anything different than the struggle that's going on in Nigeria. It's not any different than the struggle that's going on in New York City. They all are interconnected and stuff, and how we have a proud heritage and tradition of struggle, and not just struggle, but achieving. And you know, every time I turned on the TV, I got to see a black man, a proud black man that had intelligence and that could articulate a message that empowered people. And to have them treat him so shabbily is really a disrespect to the whole black community. And I don't understand how ABC doesn't see that.
Yeah, and that's a point that's well taken, because anyone who's had the opportunity to meet Gil Noble, I've actually spoken to him on maybe 3 different occasions. The man himself was as important as the show. You know, his heart was there. You could see his dedication to the commitment to the product of the show, as well as the movement of getting the information out. And he just he put himself second. He always let his stars, you know, the people be the star. He let them shine. He let them present the information. He didn't talk, you know, over his guests. He actually did what an interviewer is supposed to do and presented the information in a clear and understandable format. And if for no other reason, respect for his proficiency in his venue should have been something that ABC should recognize, for the same reason that they recognize Mike Wallace.
Respect for his legacy, because he was a great journalist. I consider him a great man, a great black man, and he will sorely be missed. He will sorely be missed, and we're going to wrap up this particular segment. We'll be back with more Black Men Screaming in just a moment.